Hey guys, so I'm here at this awesome cabin in the Sangre de Cristo Mountains. I'm 24 hours removed from summiting Humboldt, and somewhere along the way I realized that I didn't do my usual map intro that I always do for every peak I do. So I wanted to include that now, give you a little bit of an overview of the itinerary of Humboldt before you get out there and get into it. But before we do that, I have a story from yesterday that I want to share, which leads to why I'm here at this cabin today. A little bit of a humbling story on Humboldt yesterday. I got a little bit of altitude sickness, and I also started showing early signs of heat stroke, not heat stroke, heat exhaustion, which can certainly lead to heat stroke if you let it. Essentially, I got into the backcountry, I got into elevation too quickly. I came from Tennessee, and within a day, I thought I would be okay getting up into elevation. Not really the case. I was experiencing headache and fatigue, a little bit of vertigo, kind of a dizziness in the head, and all these are signs of altitude sickness. And then by the time I was coming off the peak as well, I was cramping up, again, nausea, things like that. And Humboldt just really kicked my ass, as any mountain would have kicked my ass yesterday, rightfully so. So it was a little bit of a humbling reminder to me to acclimate slowly, to drink plenty of water, and hopefully it serves as a good little reminder for you as well. But I'm here at this cabin. Luckily, we have a family friend. My parents have a family friend. We have a family friend that owns this hunting cabin here in the Sangre de Cristos, and I was able to come up here and lick my wounds for a few days before I go back out. So yeah, drink water, acclimate slowly if you're not from Colorado. I don't live here anymore, unfortunately, so that's just the reality of the situation, that when I come, I need to take a few more days to acclimate. So anyway, appreciate y'all listening to the story. Hopefully it's a good reminder for you, and let's go inside, let's go take a look at the map, and then we'll get on to the actual footage of Humboldt. All right, so here we are inside the cabin now. That out there is where I was talking to you earlier. Of course, you can see the Sangre de Cristos in the background. Oh, just a beautiful place, guys. I am so fortunate that this has worked out for me. If you stayed with me through story time, I do hope you enjoyed it, but let's talk about Humboldt. So here's a good picture of Humboldt. You should know this is a false summit. I didn't know that until I got to the top. Pretty crushing to the spirits, but that's a false summit. The real summit is a little bit further on back behind it. And by the way, guys, this is a great book if you don't have it already, Colorado 14ers. Just a good, quick reference for Humboldt. So let's jump into the map. Let me get my trusty knife out. So for reference, here's Humboldt, Crestone Needle, Crestone Peak, and let me find the trailhead. So right here, this is the 4x4 trail. This is where I started out at, I think it was 4 o'clock that morning. I'll insert it somewhere. If you have a 4x4 high clearance vehicle, you can get up here. There's a few campsites there, but not too many. Be wary that at some point you are going to be on private property, so there's no camping down here. It's pretty well marked, and so you should see that. So do not camp on private property. But if you start here, you can walk 2.5 miles in up to here, and at this point there's going to be a sign. You can split off to the right and start going up Humboldt. If you keep going straight, this is going to be the trail that'll take you over to the Needles, or to the Needle and Crestone Peak and South Colony Lake on the kind of the south side, if you will. But right here, we want to split off if we're going to go up Humboldt. That's about another mile up to the lake. This is your last good opportunity to get water before the summit. It took me 2 liters to get here, and then I filled up and had 3 liters to summit with. 3 liters got me to the summit and about halfway back down. But the trail is pretty easy. You just keep walking, walk up to North Colony. I guess it's called North Colony, or Upper Colony Lake. Beautiful opportunity for a picture with Crestone Peak and Crestone Needle in the back. Take the switchbacks up to the ridge. Once you gain the ridge, the trail's going to thin out after a little while. Essentially continue straight up until you hit a point where you're going to, notice here's the ridge. You'll be slightly to the left side of the ridge or the north side of the ridge until a point where you actually cross over the ridge and then essentially take the false summit. Now you're not going to, you can summit the false summit if you want to, but you don't have to. The trail will continue on past it dip down into a little bit of a saddle until you hit the true summit, which requires a little bit of a scramble to get up to. Nothing bad at all. Definitely class 2, I would think. So enjoy the trip, guys. Be safe out there. Drink your water. Acclimate before you get into the backcountry. And we will see you in the next one. So I'm at the South Colony Lake Trailhead, or actually a little bit further past from it. We're doing Humboldt today. I forgot to bring my map, so I'll show you on the map later on. But it's pretty much a straight shot, just up this 4x4 road, and then once you get to the lake, you'll skirt right, and then go up the mountain. So let's get on up to it. Whew. Okay, it's almost 6 o'clock. We're coming up this little stone pathway. That's a good little ways after you leave the logging road. Or I guess it's more of a rescue road. But I don't know if you can see right there. We're getting focus. That's South Peak. And then back over here, we're getting our first good look at Humboldt. Extra miles. So we're at the lake, South Colony Lake, right there at Crestone, looking beautiful this morning. And then out in front of us, we got Humboldt. I think it's gonna switch back up right there. Then we'll hit the ridge and then walk it to the top. To cross over to the other side of the lake, just down here, there's a small little footpath that goes across that end of the lake to the other side. If you want to take that way back, whew, it's windy up here. Very windy up here. I might have to throw my jacket back on. Okay, so we've made it to the ridge of Humboldt. It is back behind me. And I wish I had a map to tell you the elevation from here to there, but I don't. So I'll have to insert that later. But I think right now, before I do this last stretch, I'm gonna get a little water and a goo, and then try to make it happen.